Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Wyoming Knits YouTube channel. My name is Jenny Lee, and this is my channel where I like to talk about all the things that I've been knitting on over the past week. Today is Sunday, March 23rd, and this is episode 83. Today I'm coming to you from Southwest Wyoming, where I live with my husband, our daughter, and our little Yorkie, Dax. You can find me on Instagram as Jenny Lee Knits, and you can find me on Ravelry as Jenny Lee S Knits. Today is a sunny day here in Southwest Wyoming. It is 43 degrees outside currently, and it is 12:30. I've had a pretty productive morning, and I'm ready to sit down and chat with you about all the things that I've worked on this last week while I was home all week on spring break. I think I got quite a bit done. I don't have any finished objects this week, but I do have lots of progress on lots of things. So let's get started. First thing, I am hosting a cal over on Ravelry. This is a Scrappy make-along where you can enter your accessories, your sweaters, your cardigans, and your blankets. I'll have that linked in the description box below, so if you'd like to see more about that, go ahead and click on the more button and click more again, and it will take you to a link, and you can click on that and go to Ravelry, and you can enter all of your things. I am going to draw prizes at the end of this month. I think they will all be physical prizes. So go ahead and get your finished objects in there. The little doggy's going crazy out there. He must see a cat, or the cows must be too close to the fence. They've moved some cows into the field next to us because it is calving season right now, and they usually move them in. They have their babies, then they let them grow for a little bit, and then they separate them. When they separate them, it gets kind of loud because you can hear the moms and the babies mooing for each other all night long. But it's exciting to see the little baby cows. Let's see. No finished objects, so we'll go right into works in progress. The first thing I want to share with you is a pair of Scrappy Socks that I've been working on for a while. I cast these on, I want to say in November. Let's check. Yes, November 13th I cast these on. And I'm using some row 1 minis. I think I have all but this mini in the sock right now. And I have these going 2 at a time. And I have put in the heel on each one. This one's still attached, so I'll see if that'll fit in there so I can hold it up. So I've got both of the heels done. This one just has the pink, and then I need to finish this green color. I'm going to start back with the pink, the green, the yellowy green, and go down, and then when I get to the toe I will use this one. So I've been working on these. I think I figured out why I'm not reaching for these as often. The switching colors and cutting my yarn and picking up new yarn, I think, is the reason I have not been reaching for these. But I do want them finished. They're almost done. All I gotta do is the foot to fit me That's usually about 75 to 80 rounds, depending on the thickness of the yarn. And so I will be working on those just a little bit here and there. I'm using the Vanilla Socks on 9-inch circulars patterned by the Crazy Sock Lady. And that was my first work in progress. My next work in progress is in another sock bag. This is a bag from Mountain State Stitches. I will have all of the bag makers and yarn dyers that I mentioned today linked below in the description. I chose a pair of Felici socks for my mom for Mother's Day. This came out in their fall of 2022 collection, and I want to get a start on my mom's Mother's Day socks. I usually make Mother's Day socks for my mom and my mother-in-law every year. And these ones I am also doing on 9-inch circulars. I cast on 64 stitches, 2x2 cuff for 20 rounds, and then I did the Stack of Books pattern by Lindsay of Sock Witchery. And so this is a broken rib stitch, and it just breaks up the stripes enough that I don't feel like the stripes are too solid. So I'm working on those. Well, we'll throw that on the floor. Then let's talk about some sweaters. I have this first one. I worked a lot on this one last weekend, and then I set it aside for a little while. I'm using, let's see, let's find two that have tags. I'm using the Cascade Heritage and Knit Picks Aloft held together. This is a fingering weight and this is a lace weight mohair. And I am working on the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. Let's put this stuff back. And last time you saw, I was working on the body, and I was almost ready for the hem. So I did the hem, and I picked up and finished one whole sleeve, and now I am on the second sleeve. So after I picked up and did most of the first sleeve, I set it down because I was like, that's a lot of work. Let's give some other projects this week some attention while I'm home on spring break, and I have all day just to work on whatever I want to work on. This is just a plain stockinette sweater, and I don't really have to think about what I'm doing. I have my twice sheared sheep row counter on here, and I have my little marker where I need to do my decreases, and so I can just knit in the round until I get to that decrease round and then put my marker in, and I am moving my markers over as I do the decrease rounds. This sleeve called for 4 3/4 inch 1x1 rib for the sleeve. So I'm almost finished with the second sleeve. I have 2 more decreases, And then I think I did about 15 rounds after the decreases and then started the ribbing. So this should not take me very long. I probably will be done by the end of today if I work on it. So this is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. I really think I'm going to love it. It's going to be like the oversized sweatshirt feeling. Last week I had shown you I finished my storm sweater, and I wore that at least 3 times this week, if not more. It's just so nice to wake up and throw it on and just wear it all day. I would knit another one of those. I lost my bag. So this one should be done by next time. I really wanted to have it finished by today, but yesterday I didn't get it done. I got distracted and worked on some other things. Then I didn't work on my Birch pullover. This is the Birch pullover by Andrea Mowry. I'm using a Chick That Knits fingering weight. This is the color Fern Gully. I really love this green. And I did a few rounds on this one. Just about that much. Just a couple of rounds. This is what it looks like so far. This is how much of the underarm I've done. So hopefully when I get the Monday sweater finished, I will work on this some more. This has been on my needle since September. So I want to finish it. It's just slow going because it's half fisherman's rib, and one round equals half a row. So this will take a while to finish, but it will get done this year, hopefully soon. I would say I want to be on the sleeve next time, but I don't know how long the body's going to take. Then the next thing I worked on, I decided Monday morning, I woke up, I was going to work on a project that I haven't had time to work on because of different deadlines and different things that I haven't had just like a day to sit down and work on it. So I worked on that on Monday, and then about halfway through the day I picked up my sea glass cardigan again, and I want to say I worked on this Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember which day it was, but I was right here last time I showed it, and I worked to here. I worked to where it said that I could split for sleeves. I was at that point, and I took off my sweatshirt and I put it around my shoulders, and I tried to find the 2 stitch markers for the sleeves, and I tried to pinch those together and just kind of see how tight that was around my arm, and it was super tight. I was not ready to put the sleeves on hold, and I thought about it, and I was like, okay, so if I keep going with no more increases and I just do a couple more rounds, will that mess up anything? And I thought about it, and I checked my gauge because I hadn't checked gauge on it yet, and I'm supposed to get 5 stitches per inch, so 20 stitches over 4 inches, and I was getting 26 stitches per 4 inches. So it was super tight. It was going to be small, and I thought, oh, should I just keep going and increase to a larger size? And I thought about it, and I had already made some mistakes on the front panel. I didn't have enough stitches on the front panel. I had left out some increases somewhere along the way, and so this front panel and this front panel had a different amount of stitches for each one. The sleeve stitches were exactly right, and the back panel was exactly right, but the front panels were not. And I thought, well, I've already messed up on the increases. I could rip it back. I could start over. I started out on the recommended needle size. This is in US 8 5mm, and it was about 8:30 when I tried this on, and I go to bed about 9 o'clock. So I thought, I will wake up tomorrow. I'll do a new gauge swatch because I have another leftover ball of the Knit Picks Swish DK in a different color, and I'll do a gauge swatch. So I went up to, the next morning I got up and I went up to a 9, US 9, and I did a small gauge swatch, and then I went up to a 10 and checked my stitches on both of those, and the 10 got me closer to, I just dropped this. Okay. Well, the 10 got me closer to gauge, and I was like, well, I could just start over. So that's what I did. On Tuesday, I woke up. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I can't remember which day it was. I woke up and I cast on and I made it to the part where you put your sleeves on hold. I think Tuesday and Wednesday, or Wednesday and Thursday, I worked on this. So I started over. I went up to a size 10. My gauge is right on now. I didn't actually try this on before I split and put the sleeves on hold. But comparing these two, I think you can probably see these. This one is a lot looser than this one. This one's pretty tight. And when you hold them up, let's see. This is the back panel. If I hold up the back panels, right here is the first one, and right here is the second one. So this did give me quite a bit of room. So when you put it on, I can't get my hand through the sleeve opening, but I was to put this on, it fits so much better around here than the first one did. So I am going to save this, and if I need to use any of the colors from here, I will rip it out as I get to it. But I'll put my stitch marker back on here, my progress keeper, so we know how much progress I've made. Once you get going on this and you figure out this, there's a 5-stitch repeat that you do. It's a 2-row repeat, and then when you're done, you tie the inside one and the outside one together, and it makes almost like an I-cord along the edge. And so it's almost like you're knitting in the round. You do cut your yarn every round, and you do start at the beginning every round. And then every once in a while I just pull on these to snug them up just a little bit so they don't come undone while I'm knitting. And then I think you come back and you pick up stitches along this edge for your shawl collar or your button band. I think you can do a shorter button band or a longer shawl collar. I think I'll do the bigger option. And I'm using Picks Swish, and this is the color Moss, and I have this box that I had all my green yarn in, and I'm down to just a little bit of it left. I have not repeated any colors, and I've been taking all of the ones I've used and I put them in this bag, and once that box is empty, I'll dump this back out into the box and start over. I'm not keeping track of what color went where, or I think the only thing I'm doing is making sure I don't have like 2 teals next to each other, or 2 with lots and lots of colors, so it doesn't look like I'm repeating the color at all. But I think I'm gonna love this one. It is fun to work on. I am doing both. I'm holding both strands in my left hand. On my one finger, I'm just turning one, so one's coming in front of and one's coming behind, and then I just I knit in continental style, and so I just kind of pick which strand I want. So I'll go forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forward, or the strand that's closest to me, the strand that's furthest to me, the strand that's closest to me, the strand that's furthest from me, and I tension it in my fingers, and that seems to work for me right now. I really do love it. And then the last thing I worked on is in this bag, but I have all the yarn in this bucket. I took all of my scraps and I put all of my color families together. So I got all my pink scraps, all my yellow scraps, all my orange scraps, all my red scraps, green, blue, purple, gray, white, and I am working through my pink scrap bin. And this is the Melted Marl Blanket by Stephen West. It is all bunched up on the needles. Oh, this is pretty. I haven't... So there's 3 different pattern repeats. Excuse me. There's 3 different pattern repeats. So this bottom section with the bigger eyelets is section 1. Then you move into knit purl ridges for section 2. And I'm about halfway through section 2. And then I'm not sure what section 3 looks like yet. But I was right here probably Monday morning when I decided to work on this one. So, and I still have all of these pink scraps. I tried to start out with the lightest pink and then move into like some of the darker colors, the more saturated colors. I'm using like leftover sock yarn. This was a Yarnable from July 2 years ago. This one was a Yarnaceous that I got, and it was in, I want to say I put it in a shawl or something. So I'm just working away on this one. This one I do have stitch markers between the repeat sections. There's some counting involved, and so when I switch sections, it takes me a bit to pick up about 4 rows before I'm like, okay, I can do this without looking at the pattern. How many repeats of that do I have to do? All right, and then I can just go, but I have to count. So there's this section. I have to count 5, do a stitch, count 6, do another stitch, count 5 again, count 4, and so that one I have to be able to sit down and concentrate. One of these row 1 minis goes about 4 rows, so I can get about 4 rows in with one of these 10-gram minis. And that is what I worked on this week. I think I got a lot done. Well, I know I got a lot done because I did half a sweater in 2, I want to say I did this in 2 days. Pretty sure I did this in 2 days. And I love it. It's got my hair all over on it. And I'm going to keep working on that because now it's just knit across, cut, knit across, cut, and that should be pretty easy. I don't have to concentrate on anything but the beginning and ending of the rounds where you do something different in those 5 stitches for the I-cord before you cut your yarn. I do have some mail. I left it right over there. Let me go grab that. So in the mail, I got my Mama Jess sock set for March. This is Cherry Blossoms and Bluebirds. I am so excited about this one. This is such a beautiful pink with speckles. I did order my April pre-order for her mystery yarn. I did not get the sock set this time. I got the single skein, but I ordered 3 single skeins because the picture has a whole bunch of purple, and I think I might want to do a sweater. So I ordered 3 skeins of that for either a summer t-shirt or a long sleeve spring fingering weight sweater. So I will be getting 3 skeins of the next mystery color. Put that over there. So that was all I got in the mail and everything I worked on. So leave me a comment of what you've been working on today, or something that you feel like you have accomplished this week. Hit the like button, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you again next week. Happy knitting!